You can use the time bar on YouTube to go to the more interesting bits of a video, and I'm just going through. I'm not saying it's interesting, but by scrolling along here I can see where there's a clip of me, and you can see that I looked a little bit younger then. There we go, just there. So just there, after this. Yeah, of course. June let me have a moustache now.
Experts say informatics, that's in-car navigation, will be worth £3 billion within 15 years. That's big business, with British companies from Berkshire leading the way.
Yeah.
So without
Forget about that. Going off topic. Do it yourself SOS and Snoopy's robot boat and Sunninghill. How places and people change over a lot of years. Since 1995, look at the size of that tree now, and when Nick Knowles was here for the first time filming Snoopy's robot boat GPS related stuff. Sorry, got that wrong. Freudian slip. Snoopy's robot boat returned from 6 weeks at sea at the Atlantic, and that's been a major thing going on at the moment. Back to Nick Knowles. On my AsOnTV page, I see that Nick was here back in, first of all, in 1995.
Welcome back. Chris will be here with the sports in a moment, but first you might be considered foolhardy if you set out to sea in a boat which didn't have satellite navigation equipment on board, because now it's considered essential.
Indeed, and if a Berkshire company has its way, we'll soon be setting out on car journeys using the same technology. GPS, or global positioning satellite systems combined with personal computers, have made it a reality. Nick Knowles, who else, went to investigate.
Excuse me, can you tell me where the nearest petrol station is, please?
Well, there's one, if you go along there and then turn right, then there's one. There's one up there on the right. It's an SO garage.
We just hate it when this happens. The trouble is, people's directions can be so inaccurate, but with a new in-car system developed in Sunninghill, you can get accurate information.
Actually, it was Sunninghill. That'll do for the moment. Oh dear, knocking things on the floor. You can use the time bar on YouTube to go to the more interesting bits of a video, and I'm just going through. I'm not saying it's interesting, but by scrolling along here I can see where there's a clip of me, and you can see that I looked a little bit younger then. There we go, just there. So just there, after this. Yeah, of course. June let me have a moustache now.
Experts say informatics, that's in-car navigation, will be worth £3 billion within 15 years. That's big business, with British companies from Berkshire leading the way.
Yeah.
So without
Forget about that. Going off topic. It's a rough cut video, and first let me shift the car. That car was doubled in value recently. It's after adding a tyre, and due to be off to tennis soon, and you'll get a chance to see the junk in this garage. There, I've shifted the car, and June and Samantha are going out to play tennis fairly soon, and of course we've got rain showers coming in. More of that later. First, our garage, been kept junk for years. Loads of stuff from June's late dad and my dad, all them, and hobby stuff which could be given to other people, and more of that later. But first of all, Nick came in here again with the police. Yeah, the police have been here a few times over the years, but we'll talk about after that first. It's postman. After that first broadcast in '95, there was one in '97 which involved the police using the system. It's friendly postman, and yeah, there is something here that might be important. Let's have a look. That's for me. What's happening to the UK NHS system is of importance to me, and these topics overlap, so I'll just flip into that at the moment, which is Robin's Coughlan Campaign page, nhscare.info, and probably the important person here is the amazing Pam Coughlan. Pam Coughlan won her appeal case in 1999, which clarified the law regarding everyone's right to 100% NHS funded care. The judgment in Coughlan clearly establishes that where a person's primary need is for health care, and that is why they are placed in nursing home accommodation, the NHS is responsible for the full cost of the package. That's enough of that. That quote is from the Law Society. Right, on to the next topic. 2 years later, in 1997, Nick Knowles came here with a few other people, including Thames Valley Police. Let me show you a quick clip inside of that. Samantha is getting ready, and June is off to tennis soon, right? So, you reckon you'll be alright with the rain?
Well, yeah.
We'll look on the rain radar for that. Right, got some showers, so you'll be off in June's car. Breaking from a bit of work in the games room, and of course this is the main area that we want to get tidied up. It's absolutely full of junk. Much of it is Snoopy's robot boat related stuff that's accumulated over the years, and that is my main reason for the work that we're currently doing in the garden, to try and create space for this sort of stuff to go outside. Yes, we're ready for Halloween in a few days. Here's that clip.
The next nearest is Agent
from Nick Knowles.
Well, there you go, that's perfect. I've got a hands off phone in here. I can ring up and order the Chinese for you, Cal, and get underway. So we'll have a get on with it.
Destination Agent.
Right, sounds like they're going out.
Actual 12.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that stuff. June's got all these trackers on, cheap stuff from China. This stuff's about 7 or 8 years old. Pensioner trackers, basically.
Now the time is 8:48.
8:48. Pity about the American accent. Right. So, they're off soon. Yes, this is Robin's Corner. with a warning about our fierce cat, Toadie. And I may as well point it out now. This is the birthday present that June got me. This lovely bit of garden sculpture. That was this year's birthday present for my 75th birthday. Right, that looks like Samantha about to come out. June moving the car out of the garage. I may as well. Oh, looks like something I'm going to have to sort that. Oh, I'll point out the camper that was used for Snoopy to be taken down for launch. I calculate that is over, what is it, 2 months ago. Is work in progress on him at the moment after 6 weeks at sea. This was the camper that we used. There's other videos showing that, and here's some battle damage on it. June said Robin did it, Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. Yes, that was on a trip earlier. June has just shut the garage door. Oh, sorry! Dear, oh dear. Of course I wanted the door open. Right, yes, on schedule. So they should have get to the Royal Ascot Tennis Club by 9 o'clock. But there'll be a few interruptions due to incoming rain. We saw that earlier on the rain radar from a couple of sites. And of course predicting the weather, including rain, is very important for all sorts of things, not least military operations. Okay, have a good day's tennis when it's not interrupted by rain. And of course practical things, the reason we've used it in recent years. And the websites come and go, but the Met Office have just upgraded their website that I've used for decades. Oh, yes, I better point out the standard things which normally come right at the front, which is anybody approaching their door in recent years will see the warning signs, obviously about cameras everywhere, and also a very important warning sign. It says, home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock, beware of web cameras and water squirters, and there's a small print about the water squirters. The mention of me publicly as an ex-NATO scientist.
Well, Nick's hardware test seems to have worked, but how are our policemen doing? Yes, hot on the case. How's it going, chaps? You managed to find my car?
Yes, we think we found your car, Carol. On the computer here it's showing about just a little way of the road here.
So that yellow track coming from the south, that's my car, and the white circle is the police car coming to meet Nicholas.
Is this your car over here?
It is, officer.
Susan, is this your car?
Well, not exactly, no, it's Carol Gordon's. I've been getting things on it.
Can you come back to the station with us? We've got a few questions to ask you. We're just going to sort a few things out. Well, I can come back to the station with you. You turn around and mind your head.
Poor old Nick, he'll never speak to me again. Don't worry, I will bail him out later. Well, with me as...
Like that. Little thing to point out is that there are also automatic subtitles. So if we go to any particular bit, like stop there, and then I go to subtitles, then it'll actually translate.
Okay, Carol, I can go and get your Chinese food now, not a problem. And I'll be back in a second. Hope you're hungry.
Yes, I am hungry. Let's get the prawn crackers.
Yeah, I know. I'll get you prawn crackers.
And of course, the subtitles generated by YouTube can be translated into any language, so auto-translate into anything. So it could be, for example, Italian. Now, if we continue...
Yeah, I know. I'll get you prawn crackers.
Well, Nick's part of the test seems to have worked, but how are our policemen doing? Yes, hot on the case. How's it going, chaps? You managed to find my car?
Yes, we think we found your car, Carol.
Right. I will say now, of course, one of my favourite characters, I'm sure, is Sparky in Do-It-Yourself SOS. I may have got it wrong, but I think he had Italian blood in him. So I'll actually say for Sparky and a few others, mia moglie è molto stupido. Now, weather. Very important for all sorts of things, including Snoopy's robot boat. So let's look at those weather sites. Here's a weather site that we've been using in the last year, I suppose, after the previous one went down, and that shows here a local little shower coming there, but rain coming through. Best guess is between 9:30 and 10, and then some other showers. But the Met Office, and we've been using their website for decades, just in the last week have actually upgraded. So let me just switch to that. This is the upgraded Met Office site, same idea of a graphical indication, and here is it on a map with the rain showers coming in over the UK area. But what is extremely useful is to be able to say search location and just say use, oh, come on, is to say use my current location, and then it zooms in and that shows, according to that, at now, which is about, it says 10 o'clock, perhaps I've, oh, that's now back over there. So that is the prediction for 10 o'clock. So let me, still learning this, it's only in the last few days that it's, right, that now is there, and there is the rain southwest of us. So if I now play that, we should see the pattern of it coming in, hitting here about 9:45 and then finishing about 10:45, and then later in the day there'll be some more showers coming through. Extremely useful. I must admit, I often get very good warning of rain coming in, rather than the obvious thing of looking out the window, looking on the closed circuit TV. Oh, we've been joined by our fierce cat, Toadie. Come on, Toadie, up you come. I'll tell you what, I'll go over. I know you have been known to watch the closed circuit TV as well, haven't you, for things approaching. I don't want you using the remote though. Okay, come over here. I know you sometimes help me make notes in my diary, don't you? Hello. I should say there's plenty of other footage on our YouTube channel of Toadie. Is the cat that we inherited, what was it, not much more than a year or so back. Young cat, but in fact very easily trained, particularly by the cat opposite, who has several years more experience. The other cat opposite is called Bentley, big fluffy cat, and basically he's been getting training which is mostly guard duty. In fact, cats can be much more effective than a dog for guard of somewhere or for other important security, or might even say military missions. And he's extremely, ow, he can draw blood occasionally. Ow, he's getting quite quick. Yeah, not too bad. I get accused of encouraging him, but that's another matter. Okay, we're drifting off subject. That is a text. I suspect that could be a very important guy and very relevant to the subject. Yes, it is. Right. He's exactly the guy that I'm hoping to include, so I'm going to make a call to him and see what that develops. That's Paul in Chobham. Spoken to Paul and I've got it on speakerphone now, so you can hear what he says, and he's happy for this to be recorded. Okay, Paul, so you said you're at Mr. Carrier's.
I am indeed, buddy. I left at 6:30 this morning.
And that was walking, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're talking 5.7 miles. You killed me.
So you walked all the way from Chobham, right, to Mr. Carrier's at Lightwater, yeah? Or the other side of Lightwater from you, right?
It's up by Everside. It's literally up the top of Red Road, then you go about half a mile further.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, since this is going to end up on YouTube, I can't imagine anybody will look at it, but the topic of this video is basically do-it-yourself SOS, you know, Nick Knowles and all that stuff, and obviously...
I had to bring a torch as well, because going down them roads I couldn't see. Exactly. Well, that's brilliant.
So anyhow, because over the years, you know, well, it's worked out roughly once a month, and you've been doing work over at Mr. Carrier's?
Oh, well, I haven't been here for about 5 months now.
Oh, right. Well, that's brilliant. So the way it is in business, you keep the customers sweet, and I know enough about that family to say you're doing brilliant work there, mate. So, okay, well, you're welcome to give us a bell any time later in the day, okay?
Yeah.
And
I'll be finished here about 1:30 anyway.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Okay, mate, I'll work on that basis, and we'll get some clips, because what I'm doing, this has obviously got loads of other stuff in, but basically that's the subject, do-it-yourself SOS and Snoopy's robot boat. So...
was it starting to rain when it's not meant to rain until...
yeah, well, I've just... yeah, well, I'm looking at the rain radar. In fact, it's a very topical subject on these clips I've been taking. But anyhow, yeah, okay, mate. Touch base later, whenever it suits you, okay?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, all the best. Bye. That's enough about Paul on other pages, but as it happens, we were going to be doing work in the garden related to tidying up as best we can. But this is stuff that's been going on for years, and basically we can't tidy up. I mean, crikey, soon after we were here, this was the games room with a snooker table. We used to put the lid on for dining, or table tennis, and of course one Christmas, and it was only a couple of days, June was actually crying for a little while because she couldn't host the Christmas dinner here, and so obviously we've got other relatives who've been doing that, including our 50th wedding anniversary. It's me talking on and on and on, and so what's the next thing to show? Right, I'll think about that. Snoopy's robot boat has been here a few days since he came ashore Saturday. He sailed there, but that's all up there on another video. The key thing is he was 6 weeks at sea, and in the last few days we've been getting advice from friends, expert friends like Stuart Quarry, sailing, and in fact the top of the boat was fine. The important bit, like the solar panels, but it did have seaweed in, and at first I thought he'd been on a beach somewhere, and in fact it seems because recently the channel has been very warm, the water in it, and that's where he went. He was, but it's all up on other videos, but basically he got as far as Weymouth, and then the tracker stopped after it was 2 or 3 days. This is a couple of months ago, and so we didn't know what he was. We thought, he'd probably wash up on the beach somewhere, and then he sailed in miles further east, lovely place west of Brighton. And anyhow, the key thing is he's ready now to be cleaned up, because I've got all the evidence of it, which we don't need really now because Stuart Quarry said. And what I did last night was put batteries on charge, because we've obviously got to do things very carefully not to lose the evidence. What we're pretty sure happened now is because all that rough tumbling at sea, the rudder basically came loose off its stand. It's like an ordinary radio controlled boat. I've got to be careful I don't lose washers and things. But basically, with all that tumbling about and knocking on rough seas for all that time, that rudder eventually, because I obviously hadn't fixed it as well as I should, and it might have been something very simple, common with radio controlled water boats, is that there's a steel shaft coming up, but you file a little flat on it for the grub screw that comes here. Now hopefully I did do that, but I might not have done, and then on top of that I put some sealant. So that explains it. So when that happened, the rudder fell out, and I'll probably offer a sizable reward for the rudder if it's found. It's very, very unlikely, but yeah, don't even know whether it sinks or floats. I haven't even think to check that. The key thing is what actually happened is water then came into there, and when we got the boat back a few days ago and I checked, there was hardly any water in there, but with all the rolling about there was enough of it for some seawater to get on the electronics, and of course that would have made the batteries, ordinary radio control batteries, but load of them, go flat. So that's why the power went and the tracker stopped. That's the Satcom's tracker. We pay a fortune for the annual fee for the airtime, but it works all the way across the Atlantic. That's the GPS logger, which records all these things. This is the key thing. I have to be very careful because we don't want to muck up something in the process of testing it. Now that GPS logger, which is in fact the I Got You product, it's got its own battery, but there's trickle power from that. That may not have been tested properly before we launched, or of course it could have screwed up, but there's an SD card in there, and if we're very lucky, it's got the complete track of what Snoopy did right down to the launch and coming back here, or rather no, right down to the launch, and yes, possibly to now, but not very likely because power would have been lost. But it's highly probable that the data won't be in there, but it was in the 2015 attempt, and that gave, shall we say, incriminating evidence that some guys did us a favour. 2015, the Royal Marines. Anyhow, the servo, standard radio control servo, but chose for reliability, and here's the computer that we use, and there's the GPS. So what's happened overnight is I've now charged up with an ordinary radio control charger the other half. So we got duplicated power, obviously solar panels, all that, the solar panels probably work. So let me just check some voltages. That one that was left charging overnight is 5.65, and that one has already gone down from 3.75. So too difficult for me with handheld camera to show you that as well, but basically we just put the voltmeter, that's the 0 volts, and the other side is the plus, if you like. That's for schoolboy electronics. So let's do a simple test of switching it on. Right, well, the promising thing is that I thought the servo, which is we've tested for reliability, and we typically got 3 months out of those, mean time between failure, which means it's the weakest link in the boat, apart from the construction. That's still working, and so what I'm not sure though is the rest of it. So if I, and again we have to be very careful because I don't want to disturb anything. The other thing I can try is the voltage on the spot tracker. Now that probably is the most important thing, so let me check the voltage on that. And it's basically the power going across those 2 pins. It's the no power on the spot tracker, 0.1 or so of a volt. So just finishing on this, power is obviously the most important thing in the system, and currently it's used on old nickel metal hydride batteries, old technology, but at least they don't explode. And the key thing is they've been tested in lots of things, starting with the GPS bottles that was long before the robot boat, and I think we may even have amongst all the junk something related to that project. Now this is where, yes, it's over the back here, and some of this stuff is I'll dig that out, hang on. Yes, that's Snoopy Sloop 7, but the GPS bottle, a lot of important things are probably beginning to make obvious here, that amongst all our junk is stuff which is not only, by the way, this is the stuff for Samantha's work, so that's something else, probably not in the category of junk. But coming back to the GPS bottle project, we learnt a hell of a lot on that project. I'll find the relevant page, and this was many years before that, and it was because I was contacted by artist Layla Curtis. And anyhow, the important thing is that is one of the surviving bottles inside this bottle, and I, with tongue-in-cheek, I made up this stand for it, which is, of course is all fallen apart. GPS bottle in a bottle, a work of art by Robin Lovelock. Right, let me find that GPS bottle page, because it links across, because a lot of information like the effect of the tide is very relevant to robot boats. By the way, Affinity is the smallest robot boat that's in our workshop. No, not workshop. That's the main topic. I'll show that stuff out there. Quickly we can find the GPS bottle tracking page. Probably the easiest thing is if I scroll down the front page and it talks about more pages somewhere there. A bigger list of my pages are here. So if I scroll down those, loads and loads of things. I could scroll down there, or I could just do a find on bottle. Let's just type in bottle, B-O-T. Does that mean that the GPS bottles haven't been listed there? Well, I'm pretty sure that case you'd say, yeah, all those pages I should have included that. But this is where I say that is relevant to robot boats. So I go to the Snoopy page, which is definitely on topic, and so there's the Snoopy page, and on that I think there's mention of the GPS bottle tracking project. Let's have a look. It might take me a while to find it. So one way to the bottle tracking page, it turns out, is look at the introduction and click on the little picture of GPS sat on a bottle, and this is about the bottle tracking project. So, and there's other more detail offered there, the GPS bottle story. So loads of details there, including artist Layla Curtis with one of the bottles. And that minute or two flagged up to me that although I have 4 copies of my website, and that is because usually over the years hostings fail and it's stuff that I don't want lost. It looks like the primary one, that link wouldn't work, so maybe I've got to upload some stuff or whatever. That's explained at the bottom. A lot of these things may not seem relevant, but they're all interconnected, which is things like health, physical, mental health, and that applies everywhere, not only to the people, myself, my family, friends, and we're talking about a lot of people, but all the services you use, whatever they are. Obviously things like health services, businesses, everything else. But the internet has increasingly, in my personal view, became complete chaos. It was brilliant when the Americans invented it. I mean, at the time I was working for NATO in the 70s when we were in Holland. Basically it was when it was being invented, if not earlier. But the key thing is, I heard on today's news that was no surprise to me that even the big names like Microsoft and it's basically Google have got real problems. It's because when you look at the technology, it's chaos. They're reliant on people all over the place. And I'm often speaking to young engineers in places like Bangladesh, China, any country you name, and you realise they're doing the real work. You've got a smartphone, whatever it is, whatever brand, you probably find that the really important stuff right down low that interfaces with the real world, the hardware, like the radio communications or anything else, is done by guys spread around, not employers where you're monitoring the work. There's me waffling on. 2005, a mapper like this, live, been updated, appeared in the Turner Contemporary Exhibition Centre at Margate, that Layla Curtis had the artist had a contract to provide, and basically that's why she contacted me, and that's where those bottles went. They were launched off Ramsgate, and then just wind and tide took them. A lot of them washed up on the here. There was about half a dozen of them, I think. Oh, no, 5 of them. And here's at that time where they were, and 2 of them got as far as Holland, and the furthest that we tracked ended up washing up on a beach down Helder. Matter of interest, we did go there visit, but there's Amsterdam, there's The Hague where I worked on the Edge at the NATO research place, and we lived near Leiden. So that's the bottles. Now the key thing is do it yourself, SOS, and that's what we've been doing. So I see the rain is arriving, but just a reminder, lots of things in the background. Yes, the name of the game has been able to get all of this stuff that is, a lot of people say is junk, but in many ways it's valuable junk. You know, lots of things like electronics, transmitters, loads and loads of stuff. It's not too bad if they're in drawers like that, but the rest of it you can see it's a complete mess. So what I've been hoping and doing over the last, must be at least 3 years, is trying to get it to the stage where we're organised enough that stuff can be put where you know where it is. And it's not just remembering in your head, that's impossible for anybody. It's so that if somebody says, oh yeah, we'll do a bit more work in the garden, where is it? I'll just say, I'll go down there and look, and you'll see the tools. And the same thing, if I've got somebody working on the electronics of the boat, or say we think of loaning them or giving them something for a hobby project, I can say, oh well, go wherever it is and look in those drawers. At the moment it's a complete mess. So, by the way, that was Jim put that up, the sun, that was something I brought back from Egypt. They're digressing. Right, so want to get out to show you the garden, the work they're doing there, and that's where Paul has been very important. Right, so the time is 9:45. I think the rain is starting. Oh yeah, water squirters, got to watch out for those. Could be loaded with anything, hopefully just fresh water. There to deter the heron. Yeah, so some of the stuff has been decoration, but right, the rain coming on. First of all, the summer house. June hoped when we got this put in. Paul, by the way, did the foundation here, working hard. That was going back a few years now, and so, well, I haven't got time to show everything here, but loads of stuff. In recent years I called it my briefing centre and laboratory. Yeah, there's lots of good reasons for it. So what we've done in the last couple of years or so is get drawers ready, but we haven't got to the stage of moving stuff, and of course it all has to be labelled, probably with pictures as well, so that anybody could say, well, if I can't see something hung up, like you say, oh well, you want some non-alcoholic drink, anybody could look at that and say, oh, it's probably going to be in there. You want Halloween stuff? Well, for the moment we've got there, but we've got a drawer. Whatever it is. Okay? The smallest robot boat so far. You can see it, and this is probably not a bad place for it, but it's all a matter of priorities. So, and there's lots of sentimental value stuff in there as well. Now, the next shed that we got was this one. I see the door's been left open. That doesn't matter. When it comes to security, there are other solutions, like there's cameras everywhere. Not just cameras. Anyhow, I think we put some lights in. So this is a job done not that long ago. So June and I actually were able to erect the shed ourselves, believe it or not. Lovely. I think it was a Polish guy came and delivered it, and he needed a hand carrying the bits around, gave me some tips. And we've started to put things here, but again, it's not ideal. But basically you say it's a tool shed. So people say, ah, there's the tool shed. That's work ongoing, and in fact that is very current work, which is get ourselves organised. That's what we were doing, and that relates to the job in progress, which is this area here, and you can see that in the last few days we've started to exploit it. So that door was given to us by the Bansals, the Indian family in the village. That one from Paul, his mum and dad's old door that was surplus to requirements, and we started to do that. And what I was in the process of doing Saturday, most of the time it was on my own, but I make hardly any progress. I was actually working on this bit round here, which is going to hopefully all be nice and natural. Might even be a birdie box. And that's the bit of wood I dropped when I got the phone call from Amanda to say that Snoopy's robot boat had sailed in onto the beach. And she rang me 10 minutes after it sailed in, and she took all the pictures, and that is there. Anyhow, the highest priority job at the moment, and it might be in the coming days if I've got somebody like Paul to help me, is, but probably not, being realistic, because that is just the start. There's a hell of a lot of work. We've got attics and all the rest of it. But this temporary greenhouse that we got a few years ago is all falling apart anyhow, but it was somewhere to put things. So I'm thinking, I've got this just bright ideas, I haven't made up drawings or anything, that this we would do with the right wooden material. I definitely prefer wood rather than plastic, because all the plastic stuff we've got tended to fall apart. Yeah, fall about laughing can with the glass as well. So that's it. So, alright, long clip again, but that, if Snoopy's boat had not been found, or we found that it wasn't particularly good, or the design had to be changed, this is the same sort of hull exactly that would have been the next boat. And you know, it's there for whoever's going to do the work. But the most of the work is not so much the building, if you've got the design right and got the components, it is the testing. So right, time to get back in. Luckily the rain isn't too heavy. They've got a nice clubhouse at the Royal Ascot Tennis Club. There's other videos, you see clips of that. Oh, watch the water squirter. Yeah, don't forget those warning signs that we've got. That was put out here not so long, which is an old telly, but it works. And there's a computer as well, tucked away in the box. All weatherproof, solar powered. And I put those steps in myself, the extra step, and that's driven by, I guess the main motivation is it wasn't just for us. I can't get in here. Which way did I come? There we go, I came that way. The main motivation is to be able to host people here, and I don't mean business development and stuff like that. I'm thinking for charitable reasons, making people welcome, and little practical things like a step there I put in. This was within the last year or two. Extra steps like that there, because we noticed people had difficulty stepping down. Some people had difficulty stepping down directly from here onto the lawn, which is as it had been. But so a lot of that stuff I don't think we'd need to change. The main work, probably won't be construction work. Most of the important work is sorting of junk and put in the right place. However, it is quite possible that there is practical work to do, and I'll show you some of that. Practical work. Now, plastering. That has been on the list, and certainly low on my priority, especially since June. Oh, she can organise things. And this has been pretty well unchanged since we managed to get a mate of this guy, Gary, who fixes cars for the last 25 years, said, oh, I can do the wiring, put the wiring in, just needed a plasterer, and well, I won't bother, I'll spare you the full details, it's up there on the relevant roof page. But basically I've said to June, okay, fine, you just organise the plasterers, and the latest thing has been, oh, just give me a list of plasters, and I'll go through and I'll say to the obvious thing, it'll be, oh, who is the first person to come here? Give us a sensible written price, you know, not an estimate, and I just, as I'm walking, I show other places. There you go. It's got the job. And I've done that for one or two things that were relatively urgent, like trees, but basically we don't need much more than that done while they're there, that corner, and the kitchen. And the kitchen is the important thing, because June got her new kitchen when was that? 81. Again, it's all up there in, on the relevant page. And for some reason, she wants another one. That is the fitting is the easy stuff. Right, that's enough on that subject for the moment. This is Samantha's bathroom, and that is absolutely awful. Loads of work, even the toilet doesn't flush. So for years, we may get Michelle when she comes next time to do it, but it basically is just a straightforward job. I would have done it myself, but you know, that's not decorative stuff, that's just functional stuff. She has to mess around with filling up containers of water and things like that. Terrible. This is effectively the spare bedroom, which isn't too bad, and Michelle stays here. So there is some junk in here, but it's mostly sentimental stuff. But there you go, loads of stuff in storage. You won't want to look up in the attic. We haven't got up there for practically years. This again is a spare room. Again, a load of clothes and all the rest of it. But I go outside. Now, I did have a hand here several years, rain of course, in terms of getting that door put in. Lovely job done locally. The roof job, Richie did a brilliant job on that. Again, it's all on the roof page. But the new thing with these windows here, it makes the kitchen a lot lighter, much nicer. We wouldn't normally sit out here, but basically it's nice. And of course there are cameras everywhere, including one of the closed circuit TV cameras there. Now while I was filming this, I see that June and Samantha are back on their tennis, and let me just make sure that's locked. Oh. I've got to do it right. That's locked now. Yeah, so got a lot of sentimental value here in this room as well. And of course, having anything like guests or live-in carers, and you have to think of those things ahead. Hopefully, it may be a while before we need it, but I tend to think ahead. Right, so where haven't we dealt with? So, of course, tennis and other stuff inside. I've Samantha back there. Time to relax for a few minutes. The founder of Red Bull passed away yesterday. That was mentioned in yesterday's video. Key thing is, time to check my emails. And these convenient places here in the lounge. By the way, that little computer there, I think I bought that and several others like it for about £70. And the video for that goes into the telly, which is a high-res one, which is June's. June's off to do the big shop now because rain stopped play. Just jumped, is it? So off to Tesco at Martin Heron, isn't it?
Yes.
Right, fine. So yeah, you shouldn't leave key fobs near the door. Right, let's open up the garage door. So June will be using her car, and it gives me the chance to show you a lovely garage. Of course, the thing that people immediately see is the decoration that I do confess to doing some years ago. See, the paint needs touching up there. Probably got some cans here. Again, in the category of stuff tool sheds and things, isn't it? But amongst all this stuff, let me see if I can switch a light on. There we go. Right, June off to Tesco. Is stuff which has got practical value and sentimental value. So on the practical side, yes, for years I had this workmate here. This is the nearest thing I've got to a vice. Haven't been able to use that. Loads of other tools here. Okay. Sentimental value, yes. Old hobby projects like what Snoopy used for aerial filming of places, including this estate and lots of other places. Old robot boats from the very first ones we did, but much more important, things of sentimental value. That includes some stuff from June's late dad Jack and my dad. I think that's my dad's old toolbox from the factories where he worked for years. That is on a high list of priorities to go in the right place. And so June's off now to Tesco. And Tesco in Martin Heron is where I've got happy memories in Jack's last, however it is, 10, 15, 20 years, which is every Saturday, apart from the time we saw him other times of the week, and I saw him practically every day in his last few years, it was the Saturday morning shop, and the routine would be go down to Jack, pick him up, and I'd go with them, and typically they'd go round independently. June go with her trolley, Jack with his, and I'd wait at the checkout for them. Right, coming back in. Again, the current topical thread, Snoopy's robot boat. And hopefully he won't be too smelly, because we can start thinking of cleaning the muck off soon. Mother's back doing her work. Of course, one of the things we've had to cope with, and I'm prepared for coping with a lot worse coming up for lots of reasons, is Samantha had to continue work from home and needed power for her computer stuff, which is related to work. And we did have a power cut, whenever it was, a year or two back, for half a day or more, and we simply used an inverter on a car battery. Might have been that car battery there. And so we were able to continue like that. And after the priority stuff, which is places to put things and then putting things there, and that is a long-term thing, there's a case of being pretty well independent of services. I'm thinking of basic services like power, first of all. That's before you get into communications, and everything is vulnerable. Certainly telephone communications. Right, that's enough of that. And that was the visits to the different pages. Yes, plumbing is beginning to work. All water from the roof. This is what the Paul helped me with recently. And okay, made it a bit fancier with that I managed to get off eBay. Long trip down to Eastbourne with June, and yeah, water squirter. Don't need much water at the moment. Right, yeah, so that's the sort of stuff that's been making it look prettier. The key thing is, we had a heavy shower as expected, but the key thing is I must send a text to Paul. This is my best guess based on memory of where Mr. Carius is, where he is at the moment, and from where the walk. And a quarter to that is about 1.5 hours. He did mention it in his earlier thing, but I'd better send him a text to make sure I've got the address right. And I must admit, even though we're not more than 15 minutes away where we are, Sunninghill, I better make sure I've got the location, and I will use the sat nav if I've got the location right. A message to Paul, basically asking him where he is. I suggested the address I thought it was, and by the way, that reply there earlier to John at Team Joker was he sent me a text earlier. Basically, he's hailed up with a guy fixing his boiler. Anyhow, the key thing is, if I walked all the way to my guess at where Mr. Currier's place is, it would take about, whatever it is, that 1 hour 45 minutes in that ballpark, depending on the route. And of course that is if it's walking. If I change to a more obvious way, is my car, then sure enough it says 16 minutes. But I'm basing my guess on knowing roughly where it was. It was basically west of Lightwater, and then looking at the imagery to see if I could recognise it, because I had looked down on it whenever it was, a few years ago now perhaps. Just had a 15-minute call from Paul. Basically he says it's off the upper Chobham Road. The key thing is I've just got a text that might be the correct postcode if I check that. Well, that gave me a laugh as soon as I googled that, because putting that into Google Maps shows these two places which I can see at a glance don't look right. And how fascinating is Special Branch 247 and Hope Services Limited. I wonder where he got that stuff from. So we check again. Cody's text me is simply the postcode of Upper Chobham Road, and that number couldn't have been right anyhow. It might have been a typo, of course, but I understood it. They were on a road off of Upper Chobham Road. So chose the basics, which is why Ordnance Survey maps were produced hundreds of years ago. You just give a reference, a grid reference. These days most people have an address. The post office like to have a postcode and a house number. People don't put their house numbers on, they have names. But anyhow, rain is easing off a bit. It stopped a bit and the sun come out, all as expected, and just in that time the pond has actually come up practically full, and then it'll overflow there. Yes, water squirter keeps going off. Probably got some more coming in soon, another shower. So there's the drainage coming nicely. All helped me with. We just started it up. Seen that before. The water squirter got me. My feet on the mat as I get into a lot of trouble with June. Toadie has also decided to come in. He doesn't like the rain either. And where's June? Well, she had gone to the Tesco Superstore from here. The position I just got there says, what does it say? Actually 65%. I think originally actually said how the position was got. I think that one was from the telephone network. So let me just look at some more information. In other words, it's not a GPS position, it's not a local area network position. There's where it says position type LBS. However, now the map is failing. It says position time. I think 10:31 was GMT, but I don't know, maybe wrong there, maybe that was it. But at the end of the day, immediately you could say there, exploit technology but don't rely on it. What I do know is that it's getting close to the time that would typically be coming back after about an hour and a half at the supermarket, or rather hour and a half away out. It's about a quarter of an hour run to the supermarket, or less, 10 minutes. And I can see she hasn't arrived yet. That's without even looking out the window. So, what do we do next, Dee? June's tracker's playing up. Let me try mine. I do love that logo. Tracking is caring. That's for the suppliers of the tracking for this. That's the water squirt has gone off. And don't forget, anybody can look around for this sort of technology product. I'm not trying to sell it. I definitely don't want to sell anything. Otherwise, people say, whenever you're trying to say, oh, he would say that, wouldn't he? Anyhow, I'm about to choose my tracker and hopefully log in on that, and hopefully it'll come up where we are here. And it's interesting, no map has come up. So if I click out, yeah, so for the first time for ages, that's gone down. It happens, and that's just, we could try all sorts of things. And that's without people interfering with systems. Sun has come out. Let's have a quick look. So, rain has stopped for a while. Water's still trickling out. Pond is not quite full up yet. Oh, damn water squirter. June has arrived almost on the top. I better help with that, which is moving the stuff. Yeah, about what we thought. In fact, bang on midday. That was just by the fact that she normally is away about an hour and a half. So, don't need to have all of this. Yeah, here we go. Politics. So I help her move the shopping bags in. So, of course, the YouTube video from yesterday is ready to go up. It would have been ready about 10 o'clock this morning, but other things took priority, and not least the video that's in the camera for today's video. So our YouTube channel, the last one, was basically from Saturday and Sunday, which is collecting the boat after it arrived. Just to remind you, the boat is just sat outside there. So I'll now upload the video. That may take hours. Typing in the details for the YouTube video from yesterday that was going up, and there was a call at the door from a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses. But the last time they came through was probably 3 years ago. The guy remembered, I didn't. He even remembered me talking about the NHS stuff. And then ended up, I took these, explained that I was I was not a religious person, but I was agnostic. And in the past, I remember taking these and checking them out and all the rest of it. The key thing is, he even remembered that I spoke to him about the NHS stuff. And it's just they live around the corner. I'll mention the names. Brian and Liz Harrington, and they live in South Ascot, around the corner. So you never know, we might be able to help each other. And as I say, some believing people might say that there was some good reason, a religious reason, for, I'm going to find somewhere to put this, for Snoopy behaving the way he did. So let me find somewhere to put this on the fridge. Having a lunch. I've found a place to put the Watchtower leaflets from the Jehovah's Witnesses who just called, and I'll just mention now that June's smart fridge that she got, easy to put anything from the internet, and so it might even show the YouTube channel, which is headlined up here. And if I do that, up comes the last one, which is Robot's boat sails into there. Before that was my mate Steve Markham, his Spitfire, Queen's Funeral, So we say let's have that one. We changed our setting, got it.
Snoopy's robot boat
There we go.
sails into Rottingdean on Saturday the 22nd of October 2022.
That's that.
Rough cut A.
I'll leave that.
This is
Right.
very much a rough cut
So
photo
that'll be on that cut and go back to what I was doing, which is yesterday's video being uploaded. Get the chance. I'll use this just so that you can easily skip through a video here like that to a bit, any bit that's interesting, and play that. Stay safe and enjoy what days we have. So the from when we went there to pick it up, you have me check out the weather from today. The important thing here is off the map. Go there, windows. Yeah, that's inside the lovely town of Rottingdean. Right, that's it. The other important thing is that there's an automatic translation thing, but that's it. Something else? June carrying a lunch. Any chance of some scrambled egg on toast, dear? Yes, lovely. She's going to do that, so I'll get on with this. So YouTube video upload has been pretty reliable and predictable. It says basically another 30 odd minutes, so probably it's got a finished processing, so probably be available live for anybody at about 13:45. Don't forget that's yesterday's video. While I'm here, I just point out, it's been on other videos, but this is my study. Yeah, full of junk, but most of it very important junk. Books, yeah, June occupied a bit of space, but goes right back to university days, some of it, including, is that it? Yes, the Pegasus computer. Yeah, the world's first production computer. That is really important stuff for me, for memories and perhaps history. That's in the Science Museum. And probably even more important are things like old newsletters, right, which are online anyhow, but people important to me. Alex and his wife, a lot of this is from 20 years or more away, but you know, just take a few. Jeffrey Chan in Singapore, first major contract. You can see I had a moustache then. Loads of other guys, the first guys to fly that model aircraft, robot plane across the Atlantic. Yeah, people like Jins Chen in China. My lovely old rascal of a friend, Trevor Saunders. Here, Ted and Margaret de Castro on the west coast. Loads of people. Cliff White and family. A lot of these old pictures. Angel, right, and his wife. That's the sad guy who went missing here from Aleppo, Syria. Yeah, important guy to me, but lost track of him. Akalu in Ethiopia did pioneering work at the university on AIDS for the blind. Yeah, lots of other guys here. Yeah, people are important. That's very simple in that. It says people are important. Of course, pussycats can be important as well, especially if they get into mischief. But battery exhausted. This little camera battery has gone flat, and June said that she was going to put the washing out now. I had to do it right now, of course. Can't wait for something else. So June's just about to put the wash out, and so that, what I might do is find out where we put the batteries that you can just plug that in. We've done it before. going flat on that, couldn't find them, but I just got a call from Paul with the address, the correct address. He typed it in, and sure enough, Street View shows exactly the place that I remember, including walking around, I might as well say, going through the hedge and chatting to the family, but I don't know how many years ago that was. So make sure the camera is charged up, and I'll probably be off to pick him up soon. Change of plan. My Garmin sat-nav needs an update, or at least it doesn't find that address, but June's does, so she's going to use the smartphone and come in the car with me now to pick up Paul, about 15 minutes away. I've spoken to him, of course, on the phone just now, and hopefully this little camera lasts long enough, and then yeah, come back here. First thing is not only continue with the scrambled egg, but whatever food Paul fancies, apart from drying out because he was working in the rain. So we'll be off shortly. In my old banger, and in slower time, maybe that Garmin sat-nav wasn't updated, as June says, in the last year or so. June's going to do the navigation with your sat-nav, yeah? So it's all there, working? Right.
Hardly needs any navigation.
All right, okay, well that's good. You can guide us there, okay? See you. Me by giving a verbal of where it was. What was it? Up to the...
Along the A30 to the Jolly Farmer.
Yeah.
Take the first exit off of that, up to the new roundabout, turn right, and it's a short distance along that road.
Oh, right, that's the Upper Chobham Road, is
Yes.
it? Okay, and it's the right number?
Yeah.
247,
well,
wasn't it?
according to Google.
Yeah, fine. Well, according to Google, must be right. Okay, we're off then. Okay, right, so hopefully the camera battery will last long enough, but we're on the way to pick up Paul. But the key thing is, June gave me a simple verbal, which is along the A30. We're just approaching the A30 on the road from Sunninghill. So I take a right there, and then it was up to the Jolly Farmer, and anyhow, that's the end of this, and if the battery lasts, we'll get a few clips. You'll probably hear the sat-nav working as well, because June's sat-nav using Google Maps is running. My Garmin sat-nav, all we're doing at the moment is just using it as a map, and the map's not bad on it. So that'll do for that, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, is it rolling?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're coming up to a sign which says the Jolly Farmer. Yeah, that sign really impresses me. Jolly Farmer Junction. Right, this is where we go up to that. And it used to be the Jolly Farmer pub, and for years and years it's had a golf thing there. But the point is, all the locals, including people going through,
turn left onto the Broadway B3015.
We take a left here. Know it as the Jolly Farmer. Keep clear. Let him get across. Yeah, so that'll do for that clip, won't it? So we're coming up, we'll be going over the motorway. Make sure I've got the name of it right, June. That's the M3, isn't it?
Yes.
Over the M3. And a little bit down the road, there'll be the roundabout. They may have improved that in recent times. And we take a right at the roundabout. In fact, that is fairly recent, isn't it, that's been changed?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
In a quarter of a mile, at the Broadway roundabout, take the third exit onto Upper Chobham Road B311.
That's it? Third exit. In other words, third exit taking you to the right. And of course, I just mentioned that my free GPS software had all that stuff in it, but you have to have the right data. And most things these days are driven by what data is available. Right, here's the roundabout. So we're going to go right the way around that.
In a quarter of a mile, your destination will be on the right.
On the right.
There we go. The destination will be on the right. So this is now. Does that mean that we're on the correct bit of road now?
Yes.
Ah, so destination will be on the right pretty soon.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Almost there. Right. So then I've got to see. I might
Your
have to turn
destination is on the right.
So it's one of these.
Right. Okay. Find somewhere. So those guys have actually got their number there. So June's got the camera, and we're hopefully get the whole lot with me going safely stopping. I remember.
Why didn't you
did before? It's all a matter of
reverse back a bit?
yeah, traffic. Yeah. So it's on this road, on our left, and but the question was where I actually parked. Oh, I hope I go into their gate. That's not it.
237.
I remember they had a gate there.
239.
And it's a bit further to 247, isn't it?
Yeah. 241.
Very close.
Yeah.
Probably the next one here.
245,
There it is.
247. Yeah.
That's the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, we've got the gates open, even better. Fantastic, that is really good. Are you still running?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Like we say thank you to them as well. Oh, there you go, get him. In Sunninghill car park, and June and Paul have just popped into the one-stop Tesco. Paul to get some cigarettes, fags, and June to get some cream, I think she said, for the lunch is cooking up. Unless that was for this evening, I don't know. So hopefully they won't take long. What should I find in their car, in the glove compartment, but the cable? Oh, okay, just got back. Battery.
Taking it into water.
Yeah. All happens at once. But, of course, you could be smoking outside as well.
I haven't put any pepper on yet.
Okay, thanks for that, dear.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, do you want to just see the first few seconds of the video?
No.
No, it's okay. Right, that was our waitress service. That one's mine because it's got salmon.
Oh yeah, I don't do salmon.
Yeah, right. So you want to sit in here and eat it? It's up to you, or sit outside, whatever you like.
Sit outside?
Yeah, you can smoke as well then. What I was going to just show you, because it's only just gone live, is the video from
boat work and Ferranti lunch
yesterday.
This is the things that happened on Monday and Tuesday following Snoopy arriving from the channel.
Right, that's enough of that.
On the Saturday.
We're going to have food now.
This video shows what happened on Saturday.
Because this camera's kept on going flat, so we're going to go outside.
Is the battery a bit shot?
No, you just need it charging up because it's been using it all the time. So, that's it. You were going to check that, weren't you, Paul? But okay, no need to do it now. We relax here.
I was going to say, let's eat first.
Yeah, exactly. Eat first. But what was on the list is being able to use this. So we've got not only a TV, but the computer with a mouse. So all the stuff we're doing in there, we can do here. But the question is, have we got power there? And that's why Paul brought this out as something to plug in. But yeah, no rush. As he says, priority having their lunch.
I looked at the chainsaw and I thought, no, that's probably a bit too powerful.
Oh yes, I used that when yeah, cat went missing a few years ago. Right, that's it. So we go on and enjoy a lunch. There he goes. Whoa! Paul's going to eat that. I'm going to have mine in here because then I can be watching the video that was made and uploaded from yesterday. Right.
And of course,
so
always put my thumb up.
we thought we'd get the TV out here working. Well, Paul, you find out how we diagnosed it. Wouldn't have any power first of all, did we?
It'd help if it's plugged in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got two sources of power there, but you found out where it was, so you just point it out. Because I'd done this.
PowerPoint box.
Yeah, we'd had problem with all sorts of water getting into things, so I'd put that box there, but I'd cautiously left that plug unplugged and that goes through round the back here and goes in the bottom, but rather than the details. What is running there at the moment, it's difficult to see in sunlight, but basically it's the Nick Knowles video going back, the first one, back in 1995 I think it was. That's it, exactly.
1995 or 60.
Yeah, exactly, there you go, there's me with a moustache. June don't like moustache, never mind. Right.
Don't you saying that, I need a bloody shave.
Yeah, right, okay, well that'll do for that for the moment, and we'll see where we're going next, and it could be to our Indian friends in the village where June's gone at the moment. We'll see. To point out that we did have the TV working with sound. The problem with the PC at the moment is there's no sound, and it's possible Paul found this lying around.
Yeah,
it's that.
Is it this one here?
Yeah, where does it go? Oh, that might be for loudspeakers or so. No, for headphones. Probably goes somewhere. But anyhow, let's just show you the back.
It goes into this.
Where?
The speakers, it goes into this thing here.
Ah, right.
It goes into him.
Yeah, okay. Well, leave that for the moment. And that might be we fix it. The main thing is we did get it working as an ordinary TV. So it was under source and then up to TV, wasn't it? And then that.
Glossal bit refers to.
There we go.
The tongue.
And
hypo means the bottom.
yeah, there we go.
Under.
Poorly pointless, I expect. So that's working, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, it's to you.
Right, okay, that's all I wanted to show there.
It's not the telly.
Right.
Is this Rome, Milan?
Right, so that'll do for that. We'll see what we're doing next. Little Stell can go back there. And just put the lamp.
June already gone back there? Gone down?
Yeah, she's gone down to the Bansal, so yeah, I'll give Bal a ring and we'll see whether we go down there. We're about to go down to join the Bansals, and just in case you don't know who these guys are, they're at the top of the COVID page. And where are we? Playing with Guns in Sunninghill. That's the video. Here we go. Playing with Guns in Sunninghill. Oh yes, that's a health warning. Children, don't do that sort of thing.
That's funny.
Yeah. There we go. There they are. Nick and Bal Bansal. It's years since I did these. Now, can you ever come down here to see it properly? you see that tin can down the end there? Right. Right, ready? I'm going to shoot now. Right. Okay, June, bring it up to show us. There we go. Right, so we go.
Entry point.
Exit.
Yeah, exactly. Hey? No, of course not. No, that's it. It must be true. There you go.
Say if someone shoots you in the head, doesn't it? You get a little hole here and at the back.
A great big one at the back, that's right. And just looking out there to show you exactly where that was filmed, the Bansals were sat out here, right, and allegedly my dad's old air pistol loaded with smart missile, not smart missile technology. June's washing wasn't in the way, but the tin can was right down the end there. And so that's it. And of course everything you see on YouTube has to be genuine, doesn't it?
You know people say like you get silencers for guns.
Yeah.
I think they can actually be called compressors.
Oh, watch out. It's a good job. It's a good job we've got the necessary stuff for what gets put in those squirters. Right, so we're off there. I've got a can of
lighter.
Yeah, got everything.
Lip lighter.
I've got my Red Bull in the pocket. You got a, what's it? Low alcohol something or other, isn't it? Or no, zero alcohol. What's it? Just do a quick flash of it.
0.0.
Bex, there we go. Yeah, brilliant. Right, so we're off to the Bansals now, down in their village.
Last time you just ignored me.
Yeah, Bal's just going to let Romeo out. So, and she's got the water squirter. Hello, Romeo. Hello.
You big boy.
He's a lovely boy. He's much better than he was.
Come here, no. Come here, come. Look. Let me hear what I'm meant to be on the chair.
He's a very good boy. He's a very good boy.
Come here.
He's a lovely boy.
Come here.
Yeah.
Good boy.
And what is if he's not good, Bal gets him with a water squirter. That's what she's. There he is. They're going to have a bit of fun out there.
Now he wants
Lovely.
to play with you.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, Paul can play with him if he wants to. Last time, by the way, I got a great big cut across my hand, even bigger, because he was just playful, and I think a claw or a tooth caught it. No, but he nicked it better.
Caught you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
Hello, you're lovely, aren't you? Lovely. Go on, say hello to Paul. Yeah, give him a good lick. Go on, give him a good lick. Watch out, Belle's going. Hello.
What's it? Is it Rottweiler?
Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rotty. Yeah. Yeah.
Come here now. Come here. Oi. Sit down. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Sit down. Come here. Here's the water.
Oh, he wants to play with us.
Sit down.
Oh, no, I do.
Playing your toy.
As I say, the bit I really like is their urinal in the corner. That is really nice.
Your toy.
Very, very pretty. And be
Can't believe
a
the
good
size of him,
boy.
it's two.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Isn't he lovely? Lovely doggy. Yes. He's not fierce at all, is he?
Bloody wasp alert, I had wasps.
Oh, wasps.
Yeah, I ate them.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my friends, when I was at boarding school, we attacked one of the nests.
Yes.
We never touched them ever again.
Right.
We all got stung badly. I hate the thing.
Yeah. No, we did have a trouble. I made a wasp trap with a jam jar of
I saw it.
stuff.
Loads
Yeah,
of them in there.
that was last time you were over, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyhow, right, that's it. So, basically going to relax now. We might get fed as well.
We need to
I've had
back
enough.
on those days.
Oh, lovely.
Come here. Here it is.
Ah, it's all right. He's good over here.
Come here.
He's a good boy.
Come
Well,
here.
no, you can't jump up at me. You're too big.
Yeah.
Down.
Just had a lovely phone conversation with Jonathan, or John, again from Chobham, on the Chobham page. No longer there, but Colchester. That's right. With
Ipswich. He said,
Ipswich. I get mixed up.
He said Colchester, but he lives in Ipswich.
Yeah.
Maybe he's close to Colchester, but he's still in Ipswich.
Yeah. Okay. Well, where was he got stabbed?
He said Colchester.
Yeah, well, perhaps he was in Colchester there. Anyhow, this is stuff which, of course, anybody can do, and you can see who these guys are. And but again, how people deal with things. Apparently, about 3 weeks ago, and he's not long out of hospital. I'll say it as he said it. He said 3 black guys robbed him, and basically he had got knifed in the leg, cut the it wasn't just blood, tendons and things, all for the sake of about £19. Ended up in hospital, but it sounds as though he's got pretty good treatment there, and yeah, he's got a bit of pain, but he's been out of hospital.
Must have been quite bad, staying in hospital for 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, exactly. His main thing is the way he dealt with it, and anyhow, obviously told.
It was like it didn't stab him in the fucking chest or something.
Well, exactly. Don't forget, this is all being recorded, mate.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. The key thing is Jonathan was, as was Paul and myself, at the funeral of AJ. The second son. In addition to the camera going flat, needing charging up, turns out this had come off inside. I'll put it back in the bag for now. Use a bit of sellotape for the moment. Get battery exhausted. It's a pain in the backside. Thames Hospice shop, and of course Thames Hospice. I've got a place. Camera battery kept going flat, but now it's been charged up after Paul and I got home. And the last place we visited, which is relevant to what was happening today, is the shop in the village of the Thames Valley Hospice. That is the right name, is it? Thames Valley Hospice? I remember now. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Basically, we're deciding how we're going to chill out evening. We've got the computer or TV up and running, and I'm going to show you how not to light a chimney. So I'll pass the camera across to Paul, okay, and he's going to loan me his lighter, which we need, okay, and I'm about to light it. So the first thing I must explain is this is how you do not light a chimney, okay, and of course you must be using kiln dried logs, okay, and so let's just see, hopefully this will work. So there we go. Right, here we go. So let's see, light it. Now, allegedly, oh, hang on, you've got some flames up here. Yeah, good. There was a. In fact, I'll take the camera now. Cool. Thank you. There we go. Get you. Yeah, allegedly, a chap lit a fire in the amenity area, the residents association thing, in very foggy conditions, and he used a can of petrol to do the same thing. But everybody stood well back, and we thought, oh, that wasn't too bad. You know, not a sensible thing to do at all. But we thought, oh, you heard a boom, everybody stood back, and obviously the can of petrol was out the way and all the rest of it. And then we found out, hours later, that it rattled all the windows on the estate. But anyhow, hopefully that will roar up, and it has worked in the past, and I'll be drinking the Red Bull. We don't know what we're doing about food yet, and what I'll point out,
tissue.
Yeah, I'll point out is that the computer, and there are links with has got, for example, on the walks page, there is the Thames Valley Hospice walk. So if one clicks to that, hopefully it will go to that section. So that describes the process of me taking a muddy walk around Bray Lake, past, there's Bray Lake, and there's the Thames Valley Hospice. That's a picture of me. That's the picture you just saw. And there's Bray Lake, and the hospice is just up here, and we normally launch the boat from down there. And there's a video, and that was us doing a recce of the lake. So loads of other videos here, but if I say that one, I can see, we might see the hospice in it. There we go. May take a while for YouTube to come up. Recce of Bray Lakes on Friday the 16th of October 2020. It takes a while for it to settle down, and we don't have any sound on there. That's the clubhouse, and there's Snoopy's robot boat, and of course the common theme for today's video is Snoopy's robot boat, who has just returned from the Atlantic. Yes, and there he is there at home. And do it yourself SOS, DIY SOS of Nick Knowles, and obviously charitable stuff related to that. So we're going to decide what we're going to do now, and leave the fire going. Yeah, you've had a hard day, haven't you, Toadie? Just getting yourself prepared for tonight. Yeah? June is cooking curry for us to eat. She says it'll be ready at about 7:30. I've just rung the Raj Fuj and ordered a delivery of 2 portions of onion bhaji, which both Paul and I like.
Yeah, I do like the onion bhaji.
And basically I've got here something to stick by the front gate, including for the guy who's arriving, which is Mario from Goa.
Do they still bring the sauces and stuff?
Oh yeah, we probably, that's it, exactly. We'll probably get all the sauces and poppadoms and all that stuff as well, with any luck. It's all a matter of who you know. Right, falling over stuff. And now this goes out, of course, when Barry arrives, we see him on the cameras and everything. Make sure he doesn't trip over the wood. This goes out on this corner, just here. sign there on that corner, and I might as well put the peanuts out, which normally go just here in front of one of the cameras. That this camera I'm using is much good for that. So there we go. So Mario will probably be arriving fairly soon. A sign here for anybody visits, and people can pick up cards if they're interested, and this is triggered by the fact we're expecting a takeaway to be delivered by Mario from the Raj Food. Mario, it seems, is from Goa, and if people wonder where Goa is, it's down there, Portuguese original colony, and of course Bangladesh is where most of the guys from the Raj Food are. So we're still relaxing, waiting for our food from June and the Raj Food. And somebody is still sleeping.
Do you know, I've been sitting on that cushion.
Arrived. The car's just come down the drive, and I expect here you come to the door. Okay, let's go back a bit. See, here he comes. Yeah, here he comes. Right, let's just see what he does. He'll probably have a look round and then he'll ring the bell. Okay, let's just see what he does. Yeah. He's looking at stuff. Oh, here he comes. All right. Yeah, you just look at him. All right, there. Now he'd have a look. Give me a chance to have a look round. Right, and then I'll go to the door. Yeah. Right. Mario spent some time, came into the house. The power cut. So, obviously, going to torches and things. They do whatever's necessary. And we just, the first obvious thing is it just us? Looks as though it is just us. Yeah, so it's something, probably something new switched on, which has given us a power cut. June has obviously gone into the garage and operated the trip, so we've got our power back. However, it's a good chance it might go again, because you say, what's been operating to cause that to happen? Right. Annoying, isn't it, Toadie? Yes. Decided to tuck in here, out here, which is, there's a fallback for light when there's a power cut. And June did the obvious thing and went into the garage, and the trip fixed it, so it's something extra electrical on. But of course, one could get power cuts which aren't local. So now I'll pick up my food. Lovely. Right, grab myself some food. Oh, they're watching tennis, that's a surprise. To join Paul, mostly done by June, but with the two poppadoms and a load of other things from the Raj Food, delivered by Mario. Lives just around the corner. Lovely. Came in, but yeah, that's not on camera. Right, so I'll take this out. Go out and join Paul. Yeah. Right. Oh, time to relax. Time to relax.
I ate that a bit fast, mate. I've fucking broken out of sweat.
There we go, we're filming this. Oh, not to worry. Somebody can blank it out.
So how come the surgery's closed? We're moving to London. That's ironic, I've just moved from there. That's no irony, that's a coincidence. Oh, you dislocated your shoulder. I won't take your jacket off. How did it happen? Something of a midlife crisis. I had the smart idea of buying a farm to escape it all.
The last stop, Martin.
I was having in post with a sledgehammer. Stop talking. And I'll put your shoulder back in. This is going to hurt.
I'll go and join them and watch it and relax now. Cheers. Right, Paul and I shooting off to get Paul back to, after a long day's work. He was up early and just spoke to his mum.
I was up early, I didn't go to bed.
Exactly, yeah. Right, just dropping him over his mum's after speaking to her on the phone. And yeah, so that's it, we're off. Time to pick up a load of ice creams in one stop after picking up Paul. Dropping off Paul and returning to Sunninghill.
Yes. No, please. You're going to be okay. Yeah. I brought your children. Oh, thank you. Good morning. Oh.
How is Daddy?
Yes, he's going to be okay. I'm going to see him this morning at the hospital. Oh, Mary.
What are you up to?
Hello?
Hello?
I believe this belongs to you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's nice here. Everybody looking out for everybody else. It's a nice change. We're not going.
We're not going today. No, we're just not going. So,
Sure you don't want one?
you're going tomorrow
Huh?
then? Or...
Mrs. Tishman, we're staying.
Easy pussycat want one.
Make up your mind, indecisive toffer. I was really going to miss you.
Not. Oh, thank you so much for coming up here. So sorry we missed the party, but Marshall really does need his rest now.
My favourite doctor, pity we can't get those these days.
We found chicken.
You should be in hospital.
In the BBC News now.
And a dire warning on the impact of climate change from the head of the United Nations. As extreme weather batters the planet, the UN Secretary General tells the BBC we are approaching a point of no return and climate change must be a priority again.
If we are not able to reverse the present trend that is leading to a catastrophe in the world, we will be doomed.
It comes ahead of COP27, a major climate conference
James
in
Lovelock.
Egypt next month, also on the programme. On his first full day as Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak scraps more of Liz Truss's plans and he defends his reappointment of Suella Braverman as Home Secretary.
The Home Secretary made an error of judgment, but she recognised that, she raised the matter and she accepted her mistake.
He's so weak, he's done a grubby deal, trading national security because he was scared to lose another leadership election.
A sharp rise in the number of people crossing the channel in small boats. More than 38,000 have arrived in the UK this year. And in Champions League football, Liverpool beat Ajax to secure a place in the last 16.
Snoopy knows all about crossing the channel in small boats, but they're not as small as his.
For the new PM and disposable weights for the cost of not recycling them.
Good evening. The United Nations Secretary General says the world is heading for a
Snoopy's boat on Close
climate
TV.
change is prioritised. New figures released by the UN show concentrations of the three main greenhouse gases rose to record levels in the atmosphere last year.
Snoopy's boat. Regarding climate change, see my words quoted from James Lovelock that's been
The plan
on
was
the
to
COVID
reduce
page
the
others
use of coal,
for
phase
years.
it down rather than phase it out. Money for developing countries would be significantly increased to help them cope with the effects of climate change and make the switch to clean energy. Our climate editor, Justin Rowlatt, reports from New York, where he has been talking to the UN Secretary General.
It has been a year of extreme weather. Devastating floods in Pakistan, drought in Somalia with millions threatened by famine, and record-breaking heat in the UK and many other countries. It's why the UN chief says climate is the most important issue in his in-train.
Climate change is the crisis of our lifetime, is the defining issue of today's world. So, climate change remains a central priority in everything we do. If we are not able to reverse the present trend that is leading to a catastrophe in the world, we will be doomed.
And a welter of new reports released by UN bodies today reveals the world's woeful progress on climate. At the Glasgow conference, countries agreed to raise their
I wonder how long it is until they understand the subject.
Well, we've just got the figures in for this year, and just 24 out of 193 countries strengthened their plans. Now, if you take together all the pledges the world has made, we still see emissions increasing by 10% by 2030. Now, the science is very...
During my closed circuit TV check from last night, from dusk till dawn, noticed there's quite a lot of cases of me going in and out, fiddling about with the boat, doing tests on it, and I'll just choose one particular section, which I think that's the time down there. Yeah, I can see, but it's all mostly to do with measuring voltages and tests and things, but just to get a flavour of it. Yeah, there's me taking photographs with the camera I'm using now. Let me just have a look at what time that was. 1955, so I click here. 1940, 1948. Right, let me go fast forward. 16 times, and I just run some of that, and it gives a flavour of what was being done. The time is there at the top. So a lot of that was obviously the material that was put on camera, the video, but there was a lot of obviously measurement of stuff and tests before the particular clips I took, and quite a lot of the notes like voltages were scribbled in a diary, mostly to recognise anything that was significant. That's probably enough of that. You'll be glad to know. Right, cancel that, back to live data, and right, time to go to bed, I think.